Best buy another one of those, and then just return this one.
Let me know. Let me know if that's better, William. Oh, that's a lot clearer on my end. A lot more clear.
Let me go back. Is it okay? Good. Let me come back over here. Oh, it's great. No, I'm so stopping.
Oh no!
Let's see what we got going on here. Let's see what we got going on here.
I have a lot of trucks in front of me. That's what's going on.
It's trying to pull up everything.
Yeah, it showed it streaming now. It's been going for 46 seconds.
Okay, that's coming up.
Is that better?
No, in fact, it's not any. It's really bad. But I mean, we're just gonna have to use it. But I mean, for real, whatever you want, it's horrible. And when you see the replay, you'll see what it's not. I mean, it's all digital.
I got you.
I mean, like I see the truck behind it looks like a Comet because it's all digitalized behind it.
Oh wow.
I mean, it's probably I mean, it's a bit rate of like 50.
I wonder if it's cell reception maybe.
No, it was like this last time. But then it did kick in last time. So we'll just leave it for now because we got to get going.
Okay.
And we'll just have to work with it. Okay. Okay. Give me 1 second. Let me grab the clickers.
Clicker.
Oh, I got to turn the push. Hey, let me type this push notification real quick as well here.
Okay.
We're really, really late. This was bad today, honestly, that we could have, I mean, not on you guys, we're talking about on me. I should have been out much earlier. We really dropped the ball today. Baby, yeah. Oh, yeah. Now to get my shot. And park. A little bit. There we go. I didn't see that truck earlier. Okay, we're just going to have to go. How about that? I'm just going to read. Okay, give me 1 second here. Let's get going because we're really behind the scenes. We're going to come out. We're not even on. 1 second here. Okay, all this should be set, I think. So hold on. Hold on, guys. Okay, 1 second, okay? Yep.
Copy.
If you don't have to get out and about travel right now, the best recommendation is stay home, stay safe. It's easier said than done on a work day. We all understand that. Here in central Oklahoma, mesoscale radar, keep in mind, Google is fairly hard to pick up on radar, so you're just kind of seeing a smattering here on radar. Zoomed in tight here, but again, in the Oklahoma City metro, again, you can't see these pockets of freezing drizzle that again do continue. And the kind of bad piece of this weather forecast going forward is the fact that really as we go through most of the afternoon, the freezing drizzle will continue really across a good portion of Oklahoma. Road conditions are only going to continue to deteriorate as we go through the day, and again, temperatures are only going to get colder as we go through the day today as well. We're going to talk more about that forecast piece coming up momentarily. But what I want to do, let me get you the pertinent information of what's going on out there. I also want to quickly here, let me go show road conditions, and we'll check in with our team of trackers. I do want to show this as well, road conditions. And again, so if you're in the red, that does include Oklahoma County down here in Norman. There are some spots on the southern side of the metro, but primarily if you're there in the red, Oklahoma County, all the way up through Ponca City, Eden, up through really the Northwest Passage, Northwest Oklahoma, out of the portions of West Central Oklahoma. Again, roads are being reported as slick and hazardous. And again, travel, again, if you don't have to get out and travel is dispersed. Again, if you're in the area of red, and you see that right there showing up on the map, those spots are being reported up around the Tulsa metro. So let's go do this. Again, the important information here you also need, again, from our team of trackers. And what I want to do, first of all, let's go right here to the Oklahoma City metro. And that's where we have Mike Russ on the line. And Mike on the line with us. Tell us where you are and give us an update. Looks like you're already kind of seen an accident there. Give us an update.
Yes, William. I'm at the I-240 and 35 interchange right here. I've been kind of out all morning here, tracking conditions throughout the metro area. And I can say this truck, I don't remember seeing it earlier. So I believe this is going to be one of those individuals that did have an accident due to this ice out here, William. But again, these roads out here, William, I can tell you, they really started deteriorating about 4:30 this morning, and they have gone downhill quickly. Traffic has slowed down. They are taking their time, but I know there are many, many traffic snarls all over the Oklahoma City metro. Those bridges and overpasses are just a solid sheet of ice and very slick and dangerous. The best thing I can say, William, is if you don't have to get out, don't get out. Today is definitely not the day you want to get out. If you don't have to. This is totally unreal on the type of ice that we're seeing on these bridges, William. They're a solid sheet of ice.
Yeah, no, and the video's been pretty dramatic so far this morning, Mike. And so, I mean, is it primarily, and we were talking about this earlier, I was talking to you about this, is it primarily right now just the bridges and overpasses, or is also some of maybe the secondary streets that it also has some ice developing on them as well? Update us on that. I mean, right now, obviously, the main concern, it is the bridges and overpasses that have some of the secondary roads. Are there 6 spots possible there as well?
Yes, William. I know this morning when this really started kind of flash freezing on us, even the secondary roads were slick in spots. However, I will say, for the most part, most of the road is wet. Those bridges and overpasses, though, are not. They're just a solid sheet of ice. And that's what's catching people off guard, William, is that the regular roads are just wet until you get on an elevated roadway or a bridge or an overpass. And then it's a completely different story, William.
Yeah, and that's the one thing you really don't want to be caught off guard on. Again, if you do have to get out and about and travel, and I mean, just looking at your video, it looks like there is still, quite a bit of traffic out there. Again, obviously on a work day, sometimes, I mean, you have to work, you have to get to work. We understand that there's certain things sometimes you just have to do. And again, you do have to be out on the roadways. But again, the bottom line, I mean, if you don't have to get out and about and travel, the best recommendation is to just simply not do that. Because again, as we've gone through the morning, again, we've just seen multiple accidents around the metro. Again, it's not just in the Oklahoma City metro, it's also out in western Oklahoma. It's also in northwestern Oklahoma as well. And again, kind of the bottom line and the unfortunate part of this is that, again, we've also had at least the one fatality where we had 2 fatalities. I believe it was the same accident, but again, 2 fatalities. And again, that was in Blaine County. again, just a little bit earlier this morning. Let's also do this here as well. Let's go out to western Oklahoma. This is where Derek Machaney is. He's out in Weatherford. We're having, just because of the ice, we're having a little bit of trouble getting his video in, so I kind of apologize for the way it looks here. It's obviously very, very grainy. It's really hard to make out anything on his video at all. But again, we'll try and get that resolved as we go through the day. Just because of the icing out there, we're having a little bit of trouble. But Derek, you're on the live line here with us as well. I believe you're out there, and close to I-40, at least in Weatherford, and you may even be on I-40. But tell us what's going on out there. Again, freezing rain's been in progress really throughout the overnight, the morning hours out there as well. Give us an update.
Yes, William. I can't verify the conditions out here in western Oklahoma. Basically from the Metro West. Where I'm at specifically, the road conditions have deteriorated. It is dangerous to drive. I mean, even driving, just kind of, taking a look at what's going on, I can verify. I slid multiple times, going 5 to 10 miles per hour, so that should kind of tell you how slick just the general roads are. Then our overpasses, our bridges, those are right now, they're dangerous due to the fact that they are iced over. Right now, I-40 is actually starting to kind of move eastbound. They were at a dead halt this morning for several hours within like the last, I want to say, 5 minutes. Eastbound I-40 into the Metro is finally starting to move fairly slowly. But that's kind of good to see that they're able to get the highways somewhat opened up. That way commutes can continue in progress. Obviously westbound's been okay, as it's been moving for quite a while this morning. But today is one of those days where it's slick and it's dangerous. And again, like Mike said, if you don't have to be out on the roads, try to avoid them. We understand people work. You got emergencies, you got to take care of business, but be prepared as well. Take something with you, just in case you do happen to get into an accident or some sort of snarl that will, keep you from receiving emergency services within a timely manner, because it could take a minute, the way that the road conditions are out here. William, back to you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And even in the Oklahoma City Metro, Oklahoma City proper, right now, Oklahoma City police are not even responding to, again, non-injury accidents. Obviously, if it is an injury accident, they're responding, and they're trying to get help out there as soon as possible. But again, the bottom line, just like, again, the guys are saying out there, the team trackers, you don't want to be caught off guard, and you don't want to be caught out in the elements. Again, heaven forbid you are in some type of a traffic issue out there. The other piece of this weather story today, it is the temperatures, it is the wind chill, and again, we actually have another surge of cold Arctic air coming in today. So even though it's cold out there right now, by the time we get into the late afternoon, the evening commute, it's going to be even colder. Temperatures are only going to go in reverse as we go through the afternoon today. So that's the latest from the guys out in the field. I do want to talk about the forecast here, really, as we go through the rest of the day, because there is important information, because even though we're talking about what's going on out there right now, this is not just a couple-hour hit that we're going to see this morning. Again, as we even go through the afternoon, again, we're going to continue to have opportunities for this freezing drizzle, again, to continue. And again, as it does continue, like I said, what you're seeing out there on the roads are already becoming bad, especially the elevated surfaces, primarily bridges and overpasses, but they're only going to be worse, again, as we get closer to the evening commute. And just like we've said now a couple times, obviously, if you have to go to work today, you have to go to work. You most likely have made it there by now, knock on wood, everything was safe. But the other piece of this as well, it's going to be the evening commute. You're going to have to make it home as well. And again, conditions this evening, they're only going to be worse than where we are right now. So let's kind of talk about the forecast piece. And then, like I said, we'll continue to check in with the team of trackers, again, doing a phenomenal job around. So again, talking about road conditions here. And all right, folks, and this is an Oklahoma weather alert. That was the 9 a.m. show. It's kind of in the scheduler, so it starts on its own there, but that's what happened there when we were talking, then it kind of replayed there. So anyway, we're going to kind of pick up where we left off. But again, this typically would be Oklahoma Weather Live at 9 a.m. But I want to continue to talk about the road conditions, because I did make a quick edit to this while the team of trackers was talking there. And I did pull the red here down a little bit further into portions of southwestern Oklahoma. Again, you can see the areas of yellow. Again, that's where there could be some split spots. That does include the Norman area, the southern sides of the metro. But again, you get into Oklahoma County, Canadian County, all the way out on I-40. Again, road conditions essentially being reported as slick and hazardous. And again, the bottom line, obviously, a lot of folks, if you had to go to work, you're already at work. But again, keep in mind, even as we go through the morning and really into the afternoon, definitely try and stay off the roads. Again, if at all possible. Errands, things like that you can put off. Again, definitely today is not the day that you want to be out and do that. So I want to talk about the rest of the forecast going forward. If you're joining us here at 9 o'clock again for Oklahoma Weather Live, our forecast show, we'll go through the forecast here, and then we'll also continue to check in with our team of trackers and get some additional information from them on what is currently going on out there on the roadways. Obviously, a busy weather morning, essentially all around Oklahoma. Our downtown Oklahoma City cam, it's not out of focus. This is a solid sheet of glaze. You see that there? It's completely glazed over. And again, temperatures in central Oklahoma, temperatures are dropping now. In fact, we're now well below freezing, currently 26 in downtown Oklahoma City. Northerly winds creating that wind chill factor. Anytime the wind chill is in the teens, keep in mind that is dangerous. We're talking about dangerous wind chills now across a good portion of Oklahoma. Again, 26, 29, those temperatures are fairly common. Again, we have this reinforcing shot of colder air coming in, so those temperatures will only go down. You just saw it update there live. Where we were 27, we're now down to 26. Temperatures are now dropping in central Oklahoma. You see that. Temperatures only in the lower 20s in western Oklahoma. But again, meanwhile, you go south down I-35, Falls Valley, currently 33, so above freezing there. But again, as we go through the day, temperatures even in that part of the state will be dropping. So it is a razor-thin line currently where you may be seeing some drizzle down in Falls Valley, but it's not freezing drizzle. Again, you get to the north of that, again, all of central Oklahoma into portions of west central Oklahoma. Again, we are talking about that freezing drizzle opportunity. And again, here comes that next surge. See that brighter area of blue right there? That's the next surge of Arctic air. It's now coming into Oklahoma. Live air temperatures in the teens in the panhandle. Also in portions of northwestern Oklahoma. Again, teens air temperatures there. And again, that will continue to kind of filter on in again as we go through the day. Now, if you're down in far southeastern Oklahoma, temperatures there ahead of the front, check that out, still in the mid-50s, again, in that part of Oklahoma. So real state divided, sharp temperature contrast all around Oklahoma. So again, it's the northerly winds. You can see where the winds are picking up. See the areas of yellow there? So where the winds are picking up, that's the next surge of Arctic air coming on in. And again, the winds will become a little bit breezier as we go through the afternoon. And the problem with that is it's only going to aggravate the wind chill factor. This is not good, and this is dangerous. We really want to highlight this because, again, heaven forbid, if you were traveling today, you're out on the road, and again, heaven forbid something were to happen. This is the other piece of the puzzle here, is that these are bitterly cold temperatures. These are dangerously cold wind chill factors. And again, once you're in the sub-zeros like we're seeing in the Panhandle and northwestern Oklahoma, -2, -5, -7, again, hypothermia can set in, again, when you're talking about wind chill factors like that. So again, I want to underscore there that, again, that is dangerous. Wind chill factors here in the teens in central Oklahoma. It's not a good story there. So as we go through noon today, again, you see the areas of pink right there, an opportunity for that freezing drizzle to continue. West central Oklahoma, southwestern Oklahoma, central Oklahoma, up the Turner Turnpike, all the way up through the Tulsa Metro. So again, things are not letting up. The drizzle out there, the freezing drizzle is not letting up all the way through noon. And even as I roll this back in motion, you can see going through the day, even getting closer to your evening commute there, again, freezing drizzle ongoing. The deeper we get into the afternoon, we'll begin to try and wind down. But again, the way it looks right now, even for your evening commute, there could be some freezing drizzle ongoing. And again, with this continuing throughout the day, road conditions, especially bridges and overpasses, they're only going to continue to deteriorate. So that's the bad news part of this forecast going forward. Again, here in central Oklahoma, temperatures have essentially stalled, and they're now going in reverse. Again, with this next surge of Arctic air moving in, that's not going to get any milder, any warmer today. It's only going to get colder. As the winds pick up a little bit, wind chill factors are only going to drop as we go through the day today. So again, really some treacherous weather conditions as we go through the afternoon. There it is. If you're in the red, freezing drizzle possible there. And again, there may even be a little bit of mix as you get a little bit further down to the south. But again, an opportunity for freezing drizzle even to work its way down into the area of orange as we go through the day. Primarily just liquid drizzle, though, down in southeastern Oklahoma. And like I mentioned, temperatures only drop as we go through the day with that next surge of Arctic air moving on in. Overnight tonight, there will be an opportunity for some freezing drizzle, but mainly ending in southeastern Oklahoma. Again, teens and 20s generally for overnight lows tonight. Travel impacts, winter weather impacts today. We're going to put the bridges in the critical category. We're seeing that out there right now. And again, even for the roadways, because of the ground temperatures out there, the roadways are not going to freeze over with a solid sheet of ice, but is there an opportunity for some icing on the roadways? Is there an opportunity for slick spots on the roadways? The answer to that is yes, so we'll keep that in the moderate category. And again, wind chill factors high. We may even need to bump that to critical. Again, when you're talking about sub-zero wind chill factors, dangerous wind chill factors, so wind chill factor index today, anywhere from high to critical, depending on what part of the state you're in. Mainly talking about a trace of glazing, so we're not talking about a significant ice storm. This would not even qualify as an ice storm. So again, when you start thinking about icing...
I'm pressed with Oklahoma Weather Tracker TV. We're trying to get a shot out here of I-40.
Okay, well, down here about a mile, we've got the road shut down.
That's fine.
066 is shut down.
Okay, can I work in between here and there then? And
yeah, just watch out for them.
All right, man, appreciate you.
Around the state as we go through the day today. Better weather tomorrow. It's still going to be a cold day, but we should see some clearing as we get into tomorrow. And again, the precipitation tomorrow also ends as well. So again, it's a 100% chance of this freezing drizzle as we go through the day today. Temperatures are already dropping now. There will be at least a moderating trend by the time we get into Thursday and Friday. We'll try and rebound the temperature some, but as we get into the weekend, there's still no change there. Some of the coldest air of the winter season so far is still on schedule to arrive late Saturday into Sunday. You can see by Monday morning, we're down to plus 6 degrees above zero in central Oklahoma. Still looks like an opportunity for some snow on Sunday. The snow looks light, but there could be some snow around on Sunday. And then we'll try and slowly rebound the temperatures going forward into parts of next week. But again, this is a really active forecast going forward. We're really tracking what's going on out there today. And again, like I mentioned, as we get into the weekend, it's downhill again. Again, with some of the coldest air of the season that we've seen so far. I want to go back over to Mesoscan radar. And again, we'll keep the radar up from time to time. The thing with freezing drizzle, it's very hard to see on radar. So it's different than when we're talking about outright snow, outright freezing rain, or of course any type of thunderstorm activity. Freezing drizzle, it kind of presents itself. You see that kind of smattering of light blue there on the radar. It's letting us know it's happening, but kind of for the viewers at home, if you're just looking at the radar, it doesn't really present very well. But the smattering of blue, that's what you're seeing there on Mesoscan radar. So here's what I want to do. I want to go and check back in with our team of trackers. Again, they're in central Oklahoma. They're in western Oklahoma. They've been eyeballing the roads essentially as we've gone through the very early morning hours to now. They've been reporting multiple wrecks, especially around the Oklahoma City metro. There's been some wrecks, including a jackknife semi out around the Weatherford area on I-40. And again, they continue to report these slick and hazardous conditions, primarily on the bridges and overpasses, but even on the roadways, they are reporting at least some slick spots now as well. I want to get right back, first of all, in central Oklahoma. That's where Mike Russ is. And Mike, you're on the live line. Go and tell us where you are now. We'll check your video. And again, give us an update. Tell us what's going on out there.
Yes, William, give you 1 minute and I'll say exactly what road I'm at. I am still on over here by the I-35 240 interchange. I'm actually going to be at Santa Fe and 240. I'm on the frontage road right now. And William, I can tell you here at Santa Fe Boulevard on I-240, it is, we've had an accident in the eastbound lane and the westbound lane. Apparently there's an accident farther up, and traffic is coming almost to a dead standstill on the westbound or I believe it's going to be northbound 240 here. So again, this is not the day to be out for sure. We, sorry, William. But again, this is not the day to be out. The very dangerous situation out here. These roads are just a mess. These bridges and overpasses. I mean, as you can see here, the roadways aren't too bad as on the lower roads here. But any of those elevated roadways are just a complete mess. In fact, as it comes into shot here, you'll see what I'm talking about with I-240 being backed up Actually, the eastbound lane is pretty much moving at maybe 5 to 10 miles per hour at best. So again, this is another area you want to avoid. From Walker to Santa Fe on I-240, you're going to have some traffic snarls here. So again, it's just not the day to be out. These roadways will trick you real quick, make you think that they're just wet, and then all of a sudden you're sideways on a bridge, and it only takes one time to really mess up your day, William.
Yeah, no, and that's great advice, Mike. And again, that's really the bottom line. I mean, obviously, like we've said a couple times now, sometimes you have to be out and about. Some people have to work. Sometimes there's errands you just have to do. We understand it's a Wednesday, it's a work day. But again, the bottom line is if you're just maybe running errands, you're maybe heading to Walmart, you're just doing something like that, it's better just to stay home. Even though for the most part, the roads only look wet. If you're out there just kind of eyeballing it, even on my video here, the roads just look wet. What we're really dealing with today, and especially on the bridges and the overpasses, just to underscore that one more time, it's essentially black ice. So it looks wet, but there's actually been some glazing, some icing there. And again, you hit that slip spot, or heaven forbid, the car next to you hits that slip spot, and that's where we continue to see these accidents happening. So again, the best advice to avoid putting yourself in that situation, again, is just to simply stay off the road if you don't have to be out and about. But again, these guys have been continuing to report really, unfortunately, these at least at times slip and hazardous conditions on the local bridges and overpasses, and again, slick spots on the local roads as well. And of course, the accidents, unfortunately, that we've seen as we've gone through the morning as well. I want to go out to the Weatherford area. This is where we have Derek Machaney. And Derek, I believe you're still out there around I-40. I'm looking at your video here. We're going to switch to it. Tell us where you are now and give us an update out there in west central Oklahoma.
Yes, William. I am just north I-40 and Highway 66. They do still have 66 shut down. I've tried to get down here as far as I possibly can. They were fortunate enough to let me come through. But I don't know if you're able to tell or not, but about a quarter mile down, due to the fact that the roads here on 66, they are completely covered in ice. I mean, getting over here was a slow venture. But about a quarter mile in front of me is it looks like where an accident did occur, where it occurred at. I can't verify if it was a semi-jackknife or which accident it was, but it looks like there was possibly an accident right up by the bridge up here on I-40 heading eastbound. So emergency services have been out there. Custer County, their department has been out here handling this. DOT's been out here. And so I can verify the road conditions are bad. If you're regardless of where you're going today, I would try and avoid it at all costs, just due to the fact that it's dangerous. And also I've noticed too, we've got, I don't know if you can see my video or not, but where I'm at right now, we do have a little bit of a wind breeze, and I don't know if you can tell the power lines moving up and down. But that's kind of some of the conditions we are dealing with out here, just due to the fact that it's cold, it's windy in some spots. And the conditions are deteriorating even more. But as I'm coming out here, 66, it's covered in ice. So be careful today if you are traveling, due to the fact that if that's the case, I know there's black ice on I-40. I know there's black ice in the metro. There's definitely black ice here in Weatherford and in western and northern parts of Oklahoma. Those are what you have to be careful with when you're traveling. Back to you, William.
Yeah, no, Derek, great report. I really appreciate that update there. And so, are you actually seeing it, just to dig on that a little bit, so, obviously the bridges and overpasses, we've been talking about that. Temperatures they're just downright colder out there in west central Oklahoma. You guys are currently at 21. We've been hovering between 28, 26 here in central Oklahoma. That's a big difference when you're talking about icing. But out there, again, as far as the actual pavement goes on just the local roads, obviously it's not a skating rink, but on the actual roads themselves, are you seeing slip spots now developing there as well?
Yes, William. They're all over the place. Even getting out here to I-40 from where I was a little bit ago, which is approximately about 2.5 miles. It took me almost 15 minutes to get over here, and that's more of a safety deal. When you're moving that slow on a road that's 45 miles per hour, that should kind of point a picture right there that the conditions aren't favorable for going that full 45. You know, so today just take it slow. If it takes you extra time, don't put your life in danger just because you're trying to get somewhere quickly. It's not worth it. But yeah, I mean, I can verify it's very, very slick, especially here in the Weatherford area.
Yeah, okay. Really appreciate that update, Derek. And again, great job out there. Again, really at least bringing us that view. And I apologize slightly for Derek's video. We're having just a little trouble because of the icing out there. But again, we'll try and kind of work on that as we go through the day today. And again, just kind of checking back in with Mike again, we're going to kind of bounce with our team of trackers here just a little bit. And again, the main reason for that is, I mean, obviously on a day like today when we're talking about drizzle, you know, it doesn't really present well in radar. So when we're looking at radar, you're not necessarily able to see exactly where the drizzle is. We will look at radar coming up again here momentarily, but it's one of those deals where you know it's drizzling, you know it's happening, and you really rely on your eyes on the ground. Your team of trackers out in the field, again, really gauging things, letting you know what's going on. And on days like today, when it's just ultra light precipitation, but there's enough of it that it's causing problems, these are the guys you have to rely on again to report back and let you know exactly what's going on. So I want to just kind of bounce back with Mike again. He's here in the Oklahoma City Metro, and he's still essentially kind of driving the road. But Mike, tell us where you are now, and again, just kind of give us an update. We talked to you maybe about 5 minutes ago. What have you seen, or what are you seeing since we talked to you last?
Yes, William. I'm still on the I-240 frontage road. I'm still heading westbound. Out. I say out because I see a vehicle that has spun out and struck a pole, and they've had to leave. Unfortunately, excuse me. Unfortunately, they had to leave their vehicle. Now I'm going to be at the 240 frontage road and South May Avenue. And as I come up to South May Avenue here, William, I can't readjust right now due to driving at the moment. But here in a minute, you'll be able to see the brake lights here on the May Bridge on 240, and traffic has just come to a complete standstill here on I-240 as you're heading westbound here. Sorry, westbound. Now, William, what I can say is, again, the secondary roads right now are just appearing wet. We're not getting, I'm not slipping too much or anything like that. However, William, I'd like to give a little bit of advice out there. If you do have to travel, and I mean a very strong if you have to travel, because I'm definitely urging against it today. That is for sure. But if you have to travel, please make sure you're traveling with a full tank of gas. Because if you get in one of these traffic snarls, especially out there in western Oklahoma where the highway is just 2 lanes, you can be sitting there for hours even. And you don't want to run out of fuel on the interstate or on the highway during one of these events. You also want to carry like blankets, plenty of water, stuff like that, so that if you happen to get stranded or stuck in traffic, you have resources until emergency services can get to you. But again, guys, emergency services are going to be stretched very thin today because they're just working so many accidents, so many problem areas. ODOT, again, I say this every winter weather event we have, ODOT really deserves a huge shout out. These guys, I know, have been out all night. Since I hit the roads at around midnight, William, I have seen ODOT out the whole time. So those guys really deserve a shout out. These record drivers, law enforcement, firefighters, all emergency responders, EMS, they're doing everything they can to keep everything moving. And again, right now, I mean, you're seeing all the traffic here, William, and I know unfortunately it's a weekday that there are going to be people working, but if you don't have to, please don't be out. It just makes it a more dangerous situation for everybody, William.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Mike, and that's really, really great advice. What you're saying, I mean, that's on a day like today. That's kind of really, at some point, the only thing you can take. And if you don't have to get out, just simply stay home. Looks like you're there at I-240 in May, and just kind of turning north there on May. the way it looks right now. So again, Mike here in Central Oklahoma, Derek Machaney, again out in the Weatherford area. We're gonna talk again about your forecast. We'll kind of roll through that here momentarily. But again, just for a moment here, I just want to kind of back and forth and kind of bounce around with our trackers. And again, the main reason for that is, again, on days like today, as far as the weather maps go, as far as the radar goes, it's really not showing us much. Again, it's just this ultralight precipitation, but there's enough of it that it's causing problems. So you really have to do what's called ground verify. You have to talk to your guys out in the field and, again, see exactly what's going on out there. So great report from Mike, again, in Central Oklahoma. I want to bounce out again to the Weatherford area, West Central Oklahoma. And, again, that's where Derek Machaney is. Temperatures are quite a bit colder out there. It's only about 21 out of the Weatherford area. The concrete's getting a little bit colder out there. And I think the opportunity for icing even on the roadways out there is becoming a little more concerning. But, Derek, tell us where you are now and give us an update, again, out there in the Weatherford area.
Yes, William. So I am looking westbound right now here just off of exit 84 and Airport Road. And again, I apologize if my video is not coming in. That's essentially how much ice we have out here. And I know that's having some sort of effect on our cell towers. But if you are able to see anything, essentially, I-40 is moving very slow westbound, and it's also moving very slow eastbound. I don't know, here in just a moment you're going to see, this is, I believe, one of the trucks that jackknifed a little bit earlier, that's heading back into the Weatherford area. But, right now, traffic, it's moving probably around, I want to kind of estimate 10 to 20 miles per hour, heading eastbound, and probably about 25 to 30, maybe 40 westbound. So that should kind of point a picture of the conditions right now, we're facing on these roadways. It's very dangerous for you to be out if you don't have to be out, due to the fact that the roads are glazed over. There's slick spots, there's black ice. Obviously the roads and the overpass, or the highway, or the bridges and overpasses, they're covered in ice. So it is like Mike said earlier, bring stuff with you today if you do plan on doing any sort of traveling. Really emergency services is going to be a stretch, getting help out to you, especially out in the metro, because right now they're dealing with a lot of different accidents, and it's just taking time to get to where these accidents are due to the fact that the road conditions are even unsafe for law enforcement. So they have to take their own precautions just to get to you, and so if it's a non-injury, it's one of those cases today. They're probably not going to get to you immediately, due to the fact that they have to have those resources, available to those that are within an injured capacity. But be careful today if you are traveling. I can verify here in Western Oklahoma, it's getting worse. So it's only going to get worse as we get later into the day, especially into the later commutes. For the metro, northern parts of Western Oklahoma. It's just going to be a dangerous situation. So, be aware, and kind of plan ahead today if you can. That way you can make it home as safely as possible. Back to you, William.
Yeah, that's a great report there. Really appreciate that information out there again from Western Oklahoma. What I want to roll through the forecast here real quick as well, and just kind of let you know, again, kind of what the thinking is as we go through the afternoon, even heading into this evening. And again, this is not just a couple-hour hit that we're dealing with right now. This will essentially be going on as we go through the day. We'll be winding down this evening. But again, your evening commute, the way it looks right now, will still be impacted by some of this freezing drizzle. So what that means, and this is the way you need to think about it, is if you made it to work, you're at work right now, everything looks smooth, knock on wood, you're there. But what you need to start thinking about now is the evening commute. Because the way it looks right now, with temperatures only getting colder throughout the day, they're going to get colder as we go through the day with this reinforcing shot of colder air coming in. You've got to start thinking about your evening commute, because there will still be some freezing drizzle ongoing. And the bottom line is bridges and overpasses will continue to deteriorate as we go through the day. And again, there could still also be some slick spots on even some of the local area roads as well. So again, that's what you need to think about really as we go through the day today. So the Traveler's Advisory, this is officially from the Weather Service here. All of Western Oklahoma now included, Central Oklahoma, Northeastern Oklahoma, areas in the orange, Traveler's Advisory. That's essentially as we go through the day today. Mesoscale radar here Now, it's a different presentation. I said this earlier, just to kind of underscore it for folks who are maybe just now tuning in. Drizzle, mist, that really does not show up on radar very well. You know, when we're talking about snow, freezing rain, thunderstorm activity, normally there's a fairly nice presentation on radar. We can kind of show you exactly what's going on. Drizzle is a little bit of a different story, and the way it presents itself on radar, if you look carefully here, you kind of see the smattering of light blue showing up here in Mesoscan. And again, that's letting us know there is drizzle ongoing. And that's why on days like today, your storm trackers in the field, the video that they're showing, that's really the most important piece of this weather puzzle as we go through the day. We're ground verifying what's really going on out there. But areas of red here, this is where, as we've gone through the overnight now, at least through mid-morning, this is where the highest travel impacts are. Western, northwestern, and into Oklahoma County. Down here on the southern sides of the metro, down here in Norman, Cleveland County, only slick spots. But again, Oklahoma County, locations out to the west. And keep in mind, this is mainly bridges and overpasses. It is not a skating rink out there. The roads are not necessarily icy, but it is the bridges and the overpasses. And the thing that's really the worst case with this is a lot of it is black ice. You don't know you're hitting ice. You don't know the car next to you is hitting ice until, unfortunately, it's just too late. That's primarily what we've seen, again, as we've gone through the morning. So that's just the not good piece of this. Our downtown Oklahoma City can completely iced up. That is a solid sheeted glaze directly over the lens there. But check out the temperature. So we're currently at 26. In fact, temperatures, like I mentioned, they will go backwards as we go through the day, as we now have this reinforcing shot of colder air arriving. Northerly winds coming in at 13 miles per hour. The other thing we really got to focus on today is the wind chill factor. You know, heaven forbid you're caught out in the elements today. You don't want to be in a traffic snarl, anything else. But if you are caught out in the elements today because of these dangerously low wind chills, sub-zero in some cases in Oklahoma, hypothermia could be a concern. So that's the other thing we've got to track here as we go through the day. So live temperatures in central Oklahoma, first of all. Now in Oklahoma County, we're essentially right around 26. Again, down here in Norman, 28. So well below freezing, cold here, yes. But again, where Derek Mashani is out there in the Weatherford area, see how they're only 20? And they've been hovering there in the lower 20s really as we've gone through the overnight. Only 18 up there in the Watonga area. And so where it's just a little bit colder there, that's allowing the pavement, the actual roadways, to become a little bit colder. Ground temperatures in those parts of the state are still above freezing right now. But again, that pavement can chill down once you start getting there in the lower 20s and the teens. And where I'm going with that is that can also cause some icing concerns, not just on the bridges and overpasses, but potentially even on the roadways in that part of the state as well. So a definite heads up on that. And again, here's that reinforcing shot of colder air. So this is another wave of Arctic air. See it there in the brighter blue. Live air temperatures out in the Panhandle, northwestern Oklahoma, they're only in the teens. Now, if you live down in southeastern Oklahoma, you're saying, what cold air? We're still in the mid-50s. That's right, mid-50s. See that there ahead of the cold front again down in southeastern Oklahoma. Northerly winds here again pulling in that next round of Arctic air. Northerly winds here 10 to 15 miles per hour, but they are breezy enough here that it is continuing to aggravate the wind chill factors. And in fact, down the Oklahoma Panhandle, wind chill factors here now sub-zero. In fact, in Ava, that's in Texas County in the central Oklahoma Panhandle, that's a wind chill factor of -10. And so we just want to underscore, in Oklahoma, yes, we talk about wind chills and we deal with them quite frequently, but we don't necessarily deal with sub-zero wind chills. And I just want to underscore again, that is absolutely dangerous. If you're exposed to those elements, hypothermia can set in fairly quickly. So that's concerning there. And even here in central Oklahoma, wind chill factors will continue to dip down as we go through the day. Again, today is not a day you want to be caught off guard and exposed to the elements at all. So definitely keep that in mind. Also keep in mind your outdoor pets or outdoor animals, those as well. This is dangerous for them too. So as we go at least through noon, this is the hour-by-hour future radar here. The areas of pink here from southwestern Oklahoma into central Oklahoma, up into northeastern Oklahoma, again, opportunity for freezing mist and freezing drizzle will continue through lunchtime as I roll this back into motion, even taking you through the afternoon. You can see this will essentially be an all-afternoon deal as we're getting closer to your evening commute, 5 p.m. A lot of this activity is going to continue to try and push southeast, hopefully beginning to clear out of the Oklahoma City metro, but it's still going to be razor close enough that I think the evening commute in central Oklahoma will still be intact, and then again, there will still be slick spots. We really got to key in on that. Again, temperatures essentially dropping as we go through the day, drizzle in progress. area of red. Again, that's where the opportunity for freezing drizzle is. Could be some freezing drizzle mixed down across portions of south central, east central Oklahoma as the colder air moves down there as we go through the day today. And that even tonight, again, in general, the general trend as we get into tonight is the precipitation activity should begin to push east out of Oklahoma, teens, 20s for overnight lows, wind chill factors possibly sub-zero, especially in northwestern Oklahoma. So the greatest impact from all of this will continue to be the bridges. I'm putting that in the critical category. Again, the bridges are not a solid sheet of ice, but the most dangerous part of this, and we keep saying this over and over, it's the fact that it's black ice. You may be driving, everything looks red, and then heaven forbid you hit some ice, the car next to you hits some ice, and again, those are where we've seen the accidents as we've gone through the morning. So we're going to keep bridges critical now as we essentially go through the day. Roads, we'll put them at moderate, definitely use caution even on the roadways, and again, wind chill factors high to critical. Again, depending on what part of the state you're in, again, with some of those sub-zero wind chill factors out there. The overall icing will be light. This is a glaze, only really dealing with travel issues. I'm not worried about power lines or tree branches or anything like that. Again, primarily just travel issues here. Again, primarily with this light glazing. And then as we get into tomorrow, there will be better weather tomorrow. Again, the precipitation ends. It will still be a chilly day. We'll try and get into the 30s, maybe some 40s out there, and we will begin to clear the skies as well. But again, the precipitation will be over tomorrow. We're just essentially dealing with it today. So again, you can see at least some better weather. Even by the time we get into Friday, we'll try and moderate the temperatures. But the next round of Arctic air does arrive for the weekend. And well, as it turns out, the coldest air of the entire winter so far, it will arrive this weekend. Sunday, there may be an opportunity for some snow. And again, you can see by Monday morning in central Oklahoma, my forecasted low is 6 degrees above zero. That's pipe bursting cold in central Oklahoma. Some locations in northern Oklahoma may make a run towards zero as far as the actual air temperature goes. We try and pull out of the hole deeper into the 12-day there with some 40s and 50s showing up. But over the next several days, a lot of active weather and a lot of cold weather on the way. That is for sure. What is the old saying? Of course, March in like a lion, out like a lamb. We'll see if that's true this year. But again, the way it looks right now, March definitely coming in like a lion, again, with all this active weather and all this cold weather that, again, we're seeing out there, at least on the 12-day going forward. Here's what I want to do. I want to go and check back in with our team of trackers. Again, this is essentially kind of going to be the rundown that we do through the morning here. Again, just bouncing in with them, seeing what they're seeing out in the field, and again, letting them kind of report back the traffic conditions as we go through the morning here. But let's go to the Oklahoma City Metro. That's where Mike West is, our senior storm tracker out there. And Mike, you're on the live line with us still here. We're looking at your video. It's coming in nicely. Tell us where you are now. Looks like there's something going on there. Looks like a little fender bender. Give us an update.
Yes, William. This pickup has definitely hit something out here. He's now parked. He's just waiting, I guess, for a wrecker or something. Driver appears to be okay, but I can tell you I'm at Southwest 59th and 240 right now. And William, Southwest 59th between May and at least 240 here is a solid sheet of ice. I know when I turned around to be able to get this shot, mind you, the new Fast Track 2 is all-wheel drive, and even she still spun and went a little bit swirly on me. So this is, again, and this is a secondary road that was just a solid sheet of ice. I'm starting to notice that the intersection is where we're starting to get a little bit of a heavier glaze of ice on the secondary road. So that's another factor that kind of plays into everything. You know.
Yeah, Mike, can you say that one more time? I missed that. Can you say that one more time? You said even on some of the secondary roads, you're starting to get just a little bit of glazing. Can you say that one more time?
Yes, that is correct, William. On the secondary roads, like Southwest 59th is a secondary road, not an interstate, and it is definitely a sheet of ice out here. So again, and I'm noticing at the intersections, they're even worse. So it looks like he's got a ride here showing up. So again, we're glad to see this driver's okay. But again, you know, I've seen, since I've sat here, I have seen probably about 5 wreckers with vehicles on them. So, I mean, they are busy out here, William. So again, if you don't have to be out, please don't be out. You know, these roads are not conducive to driving today just to be out driving. If you've got to run to Walmart, you might put it off. Tomorrow's a much better day. If you have an emergency, we understand that. If you have to go to work, we understand that. But again, if you don't have to be out, please don't be out today. These roads are only, to me, I really feel that they're still going downhill dramatically, William.
Yeah, they're only going to deteriorate throughout the day. Temperatures are only going to get colder as we go through the day. The roads are going to have more time to kind of super cool as we go through the day, especially the bridges and overpasses. And again, with this light precipitation that will be continuing throughout the day, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you hit it right on the head there, Mike. I mean, road conditions are only going to deteriorate. What did that do? Do you know what that gentleman there hit? Were you able to see what he hit, or was it just some kind of a fender bender and he was able to pull off there to the side?
I don't know what or if he hit, but I used to work at a body shop, and the kind of damage, it looks like he had a multi-vehicle collision, and they probably exchanged insurance and left. His vehicle may not be drivable right now.
Yeah,
that's why he's leaving his. And another thing I'd like to note out here, William, which I kind of hope is a good sign. We're getting a little bit of a lifting here coming from the west right now. The cloud deck isn't as low. The drizzle is kind of slowing down a little bit. Now that's not to get anyone's hopes up, but again, I'm hoping that maybe that's a good sign that maybe conditions, even though the roads may not thaw, so to speak, but maybe we won't have any additional icing on top of that. I'm hoping, with the lightening of the clouds here and the raising of the cloud deck.
Well, here's crossing our fingers. It looks like the latest data coming in here looks like we're going to continue with this drizzle at least through most of the afternoon. It looks like maybe by 4 o'clock this afternoon, we're going to try and push a little more to the southeast. But it looks like this will be most of the afternoon. Again, this light precipitation ongoing. And again, unfortunately, the temperature is dropping with this reinforcing shot of Arctic air moving in. So it doesn't look like there's going to be much in the way of improvement as we go through the afternoon. So again, just not a good situation. And of course, our hearts go out to that gentleman right there again with the, with the fender bender that obviously happened. I mean, those are not fun, to recover from, have to deal with your insurance, all that kind of stuff that goes along with it. So it's not just the deal that happened, and now he has to deal with the aftermath of all that as well. But luckily, it looks like there's somebody coming to pick him up, and of course, it looks like hopefully he's getting back into a warm car because again, that right there is a prime example. As wind chills continue to drop, it's becoming more and more dangerous. Hypothermia becomes a concern. And again, you don't want to be stuck in your car, disabled, and again, having to deal with those elements. So again, just not a good situation, but definitely thoughts and prayers for that person right there. But again, overall, looks like, luckily, the accident not as bad as some of the ones we saw earlier today. That is the good news there. So let's do this. I want to get back out in western Oklahoma. Again, this is what's going on in central Oklahoma. Not good, obviously. I want to go back out to Derek Mashaney. And again, he's out in the Weatherford area. And so, Derek, we're looking at your video here as well now. And again, Derek's just kind of dealing, I think some of the cell phone towers out there have iced up a little bit. So we're having his video look just a little more grainy than what we're used to here in Oklahoma Weather Tracker TV. We apologize for that. But again, he's just dealing with the elements. But Derek, you're out there on I-40 as what it looks like. Tell us where you are and go and give us an update.
Yes, William, I am just off I-40 and Highway 66 on the 66 service road. And I can say conditions really haven't changed. The roads are still iced over. And it's like Mike did bring up a good point just a little bit ago. The secondary roads right now are kind of the bigger concerns. They don't have as much traffic on them. And so, the icing on those are going to be a little bit more particularly heavy. Really as compared to what the highways are, at least here in western Oklahoma. I can verify that due to the fact that it's a slower travel time, and just getting onto 66 to come down and look at this accident that I looked at earlier. I was going 5 miles per hour. I mean, the roads here, basically for about a quarter-mile stretch, there's one little area on the south side of the road that has traction. It has had some people driving on it, but once you get to a certain point, basically from Airport Road up to Enable Energy, which is on Highway 66 here, On east, it's all completely glazed over. I mean, full sheet of ice, dangerous to drive on. You know, so I recommend, if you don't even have to take the secondary roads, don't take them. They're 100% covered with ice. But also, if you don't have to get out today, period, don't get out. It's not worth putting your life in danger, and it's definitely not worth putting your property in danger. As you said earlier, you're going to have an issue dealing with insurance. Obviously, who knows how long it's going to take to get emergency services out to you. At least I can say here, they are responding as quickly as they possibly can. But it's also a different story for the Metro too. As right now, they're responding more to the serious accidents, those that are more of a life-threatening situation. You know, so be prepared today. Just pack some essentials, take them with you. That way, if you do get some sort of traffic snarl, fender bender, whatever the case is, you can cover up until you're able to get emergency services available. You know, and also maybe another word of advice: if you do have a fender bender, it's a 2-car incident, nobody's injured. You know, go ahead and see what you can do to get help, maybe on a personal level, if able to do so. That way you're not stuck out here. It's one of those situations today where you just have to kind of evaluate the situation. You know, so be careful if you are traveling. We do get it if you've got to work, if you have an emergency. 100% we understand that. Everybody understands that. But if you don't have to be out today, the big story is, William, don't be out. Especially if you're working tonight, you know, plan ahead for that commute. It's not worth putting your life in danger and the people that are going to be driving around you. Because you may be the best driver in the world, but then also you got people out there that are careless, that don't necessarily take those extra precautions. So you might find yourself in an accident, you know, just going to ruin your day. So be careful today. That's one thing I can really say. And I have noticed that the drizzle it's starting to kind of come down a little bit. So it's not as heavy as it was earlier, but we are still seeing that very slight amount of moisture. Back to you, William.
Okay, Desmond, saying really great report. Appreciate that update again. He's out in the Weatherford area in west central Oklahoma. And again, like I mentioned a couple times, this is going to be kind of the trend as we go through the morning. We're really going to be bouncing in with our team of trackers, our team of storm trackers out in the field quite a bit. And if you've been joining our coverage, I've said this a couple times, we have a lot of folks joining our coverage now. So if you're just joining, the reason why we're going to be checking in with them so much is that drizzle does not really show up well on radar. It doesn't present very well. And as we're looking at mesoscan radar, you kind of see the smattering of blue and green showing up on the radar. That's essentially letting us know, yes, there is some drizzle out there, but typically when you're talking about snow, you're talking about freezing rain, thunderstorms, rain, things like that. We normally have a nice display on mesoscan radar, but again, on a day like today when we're dealing with drizzle, not much shows up here. So I don't have a lot of fast-changing radar information to show you. Keeping you up to date with the road conditions as reported by ODOT. But on a day like today, you really have to do what's called ground verify. You have to talk to your team of trackers, find out where they are, and let them report back exactly what's happening. And of course, the road conditions are reporting back. That is also the rule from them as well. I'm going to update you on the forecast. We'll talk about that again coming up momentarily. But what I want to do, I want to go and bounce back here into central Oklahoma with Mike Russ. And Mike, you're still on the live line with us. Your video looks like it may be out for just a second here, but tell us exactly where you are, Mike, and give us an update in central Oklahoma.
Yes, William. I'm actually traveling. Excuse me. I'm actually traveling northbound on Portland right now. I kind of want to check out the I-40 corridor and see what's going on up there. 240 has definitely slowed down. I-35 was slowed down. The only one I haven't seen on the south side here is going to be the I-40 corridor here. But I can tell you, even Portland here, I'm at Portland and Newcastle Road right now. And I can tell you, I'm finding slick spots even on Portland. Traffic has slowed down. They're doing a phenomenal job of taking their time out here so far. But one thing I can say, as I had somebody do this to me earlier, definitely keep your distance, because things change so fast. You want to be able to give yourself that time to be able to stop if need be. And if you're right on somebody's bumper, you can't stop quick enough, and you're just going to have a multi-vehicle collision and ruin yours and somebody else's day as well. So again, I'm on Portland here, William, at Portland and Southwest 27th, trying to make my way back to the I-40 corridor to keep you updated on all forms of travel here around the Oakland City Metro, William.
Mike, great report. Really appreciate that update. And just kind of tell us what you've seen, really, as we've gone through the morning. I know there's been several times where at least you've even been reporting some of the side roads have been slate in spots, mainly bridges and overpasses. That, again, where we've seen the most issues with. It seems to be right there as well around I-240 in May. We had a big wreck there earlier today. You've still been reporting some issues there as you were just kind of down in that area. But, like we've kind of said over and over, not to sound like a broken record, but for the folks just now joining us, again, today is one of those days. It really goes without saying. If you don't have to get out and about on the roads, don't do it. Stay somewhere safe, stay warm, and again, don't put your vehicle in danger. Just trying to run down to Walmart to get something. You have to go to work if there's an emergency. Obviously, you have to do what you have to do. But again, today's one of those days. If you don't have to do that, you're able to stay somewhere warm and safe, and definitely do that. But tell us a little bit more, Mike, again, about the road conditions, again, really what you've seen, essentially, again, as we've gone through the morning, just to try to get out there.
Yes, William, I've seen numerous split spots out here. I'm starting to see them on the secondary roads, but I can tell you it started this morning with the bridges and overpasses. About the worst bear with you for a second here as I cross the Canadian River Bridge here on Portland. And this thing is just a solid blade of ice. I mean, you really can't see it in the video, but you can see the tallest plane where tires have just beaten down, and it almost looks like a Zamboni has gone across it and just flipped it up, just made it a nice skating rink out here. But again, what I've seen so far this morning is a lot of traffic snarls due to the bridges and overpasses. They were the first things to go downhill. We're starting to see the secondary roads starting to kind of catch up to the bridges and overpasses here. Now, as I come to I-40, it looks like it's moving in both directions just fine here at I-40 in Portland. But they are taking it slow. So that's something we like seeing. People taking those precautions, taking it easy. But again, these roads are just a mess out here, William. I don't know how to explain it. They're slick, they're hazardous. It's just not a good day to get out. That is for sure.
Okay, Mike, really appreciate that update. Again, great job to our team of trackers as well. Again, what they're doing, it's not easy as well. Obviously, having to kind of navigate the road, deal with, some of the other drivers that may not be driving that well. And again, they're just doing a phenomenal job. Again, obviously dealing with the ice, the slick spots, and all of that and stuff. I want to talk about the forecast and kind of walk you through what we're kind of really expecting as we go through the rest of the day today. Now, number one, we continue with this traveler's advisory. This is in effect at least until early this evening in central Oklahoma. So the counties in orange there, traveler's advisory. And again, that's at least through 6 p.m. this evening. It does include central Oklahoma, northeastern Oklahoma, all of western Oklahoma. And that's where the highest probability is going to be able to go through the day of, again, some additional icing. We've mentioned this a few times on radar. Drizzle does not show up that well. Freezing drizzle does not. You can kind of see the smattering of blue. That's how it presents itself on radar. So, again, this is why we really have to ground verify. These are from the trackers today to truly see what's going on out there. Now, as far as road conditions go, as reported by ODOT, most of western Oklahoma, northwestern Oklahoma, and Oklahoma and Canadian County, and Logan County in central Oklahoma, those are what's being reported as slick and hazardous. Now, the roads, for the most part, the actual roads, there are slick spots on them, yes, but again, our team of traffic has been reporting, but it's primarily the bridges and the overpasses. And I just want to underscore that one more time. It's primarily the bridges and the overpasses. And the reason why this is important is because it's primarily black ice. You may not even see the ice. The car next to you may not see the ice, but that's where most of our travel and traffic incidents have come from as we've gone through the morning. And unfortunately, it's from black ice. And so again, just use excessive caution if for any reason you are on the roads, at least here at mid-morning. So we're downtown Oklahoma City, Cam. There's nothing wrong with the camera. It looks all gray. You can't see anything. The reason why, that is a solid sheet of ice. That is a solid sheet of glazing. In fact, all of our live cams, North Norman, Guthrie, all of the cams are completely frozen over with the freezing drizzle. This is what freezing drizzle does. It ices up on super exposed surfaces. And a bridges and overpasses, that's another good example, obviously, of a super exposed surface. So 26 degrees, we're now well below freezing in central Oklahoma. Notice the wind data has dropped off. The reason for that, the anemometer that spins around, it is now frozen. So we've got data dropped out as far as the wind speeds go in central Oklahoma. Again, anemometer that spins, it is frozen solid and can no longer spin. So we're 26 to 28 in central Oklahoma. Several degrees below freezing here. These numbers are really important today. Again, who's above, who's below, and how far below are we? And when I say how far below freezing are we, especially out here in west central Oklahoma, 20, 21, 18, see those numbers there? So that's quite a bit colder than what we're seeing in central Oklahoma. The only reason why that matters is, again, some of the actual roadways, because temperatures are colder, and they've been colder longer out there. Again, talking about the lower 20s and teens, it does allow those roads to chill down as well, and that's why we may see some of those additional icy spots even on the roadways that Derek Machaney out there in Weatherford was talking about just a little bit earlier. We have this reinforcing side of Arctic air. You see that there in the bright blue. That's funneling into Oklahoma. It seems in northern, northwestern Oklahoma in the Panhandle. So again, bitterly cold there. And again, even here in central Oklahoma, our temperatures as we go through the day today, it's not going to get any warmer. It's not going to get any milder. In fact, it's going to be colder by your evening commute. The temperature's chilling on down with this next surge of Arctic air coming on in. You can even see that here in the wind field as well. The area of yellow, that's where we have what's called cold air advection. Cold air moving in on these winds out of Kansas, and this next surge of Arctic air is moving on into Oklahoma. And again, the winds are picking up along with that. Notice a lot of locations where the wind speed data is missing. And again, that's because of the anemometer, the things that spin around and measure the wind, like I was talking about in central Oklahoma. That's becoming more widespread around the state. It's frozen solid, it can no longer spin. One of the reasons why we're missing a lot of wind chill data here as well, you have to factor in the wind with the temperature. You compute that to get your wind chill factor. So even though it looks like we're missing a lot of data, the reason for that is because we just don't have wind speeds to factor in. The computer doesn't. But out in the Oklahoma Panhandle, where we can still factor in the wind chill factor is sub-zero, dangerous in that part of the state. Also up in the far northwest parts of the state, anywhere from 0 to right around +2 now up there in Woods County. So again, keep in mind, anytime the wind chill factors really start getting from the teens and lower, that's when you start getting in the danger zone. So well into the danger zone in the Panhandle, northwestern Oklahoma, even here in central Oklahoma on the teens, and wind chill factors will be dropping throughout the day. So then it goes without saying, if you're going to be out and about for any reason today, if heaven forbid you're in some type of a traffic snarl, keep in mind you do not want to be exposed to the elements. Hypothermia can set in. Make sure you have plenty of gas in your vehicle. Make sure you have blankets in your vehicle. If for any reason you're going to be out on the road as we go through this afternoon. So future radar here. By noon today, you can see southwestern Oklahoma, central Oklahoma, even up in northeastern Oklahoma, freezing drizzle continues. So this is not just a couple hours hit. Again, this will be going on as we go through the afternoon, and even as I roll this back into motion, getting closer to your evening commute, by 3, 4 o'clock, we'll try and begin to push this activity out of central Oklahoma over the portions of far east central Oklahoma. But again, the way it looks right now, the morning commute was treacherous. There were big issues for sure. But again, the way it looks right now, even for the evening commute, there will be issues, and it could be just a little worse as far as the actual conditions go, a little more treacherous, if you will. Again, as we get closer to your evening commute, again, temperatures today go in reverse. Will actually continue to chill down. Areas of red, that's where freezing drizzle is possible as we go through the day. That's kind of more of a mix across portions of east central, south central Oklahoma, with only some liquid drizzle down in southeastern Oklahoma. So again, overnight tonight, we'll try and push the precipitation in the eastern Oklahoma, and then by sunrise tomorrow morning, eventually out of Oklahoma, teens, 20s, and still some 30s for overnight lows tonight. But again, bitterly cold, wind chill factors in the single digits out the door tomorrow morning. And so as far as the impacts go, we'll keep the bridges in the critical category. The bridges, again, they're not a solid sheet of ice, but there's enough black ice out there that, again, it is making those bridges and overpasses quite treacherous. And a good portion of Oklahoma will go critical there. We'll keep the roads at a moderate. You have to use excessive caution even driving on the road. And again, wind chill factor high to critical, again, with some sub-zero wind chill factors now in Oklahoma. So the overall icing amount, the overall glazing amount, overall it's going to be light. This is not an ice storm. This would never qualify as an ice storm, but there's going to be just enough glazing out there that it's really impacting the travel conditions. When you're talking about the tree limbs, you're talking about the power lines, those are not really going to be suspect as we go through the day today. It's just going to be the travel impact. And again, overall, a fairly light glazing, again, as we go through the afternoon, again, in the blues right there. Better weather tomorrow, again, with 30s and 40s that we'll try and build in as we go through the day. Lighter northerly winds, and we should see some sunshine. That'll be nice. The Oklahoma sun will try to return again as we go through tomorrow. So some improving weather by the time we get into tomorrow and to Friday. But as we get into Saturday, as we get into Sunday, here comes another strong Arctic cold front. And as it turns out, this will be the coldest air of the season we've seen so far. That settles in by Sunday. By Monday morning, we're down to +6 degrees above zero in central Oklahoma. There may be an opportunity for some light snow, by the way, as well, as we go through parts of Sunday. Right now, snow accumulations look fairly light in most of Oklahoma. So here's what I want to do. It looks like Derek Mashaney, as I was looking at his video there, it looks like he's rolled up on something, maybe an overturned vehicle. Derek, we're looking at your video. You're out there in west central Oklahoma. Tell us where you are, and let's go and take a closer look at that. Tell us what's going on out there.
Yes, William, I'm on 66 right now. I'm just looking eastbound. That right there is what appears to be one of the semis that hopped over I-40 this morning, and I mean, as you can see in my shot, that's how it landed. It's on its side. I don't know the condition of the driver. I'm hoping they're okay, but it looked to have been a pretty good impact, just due to the fact that that's, I mean, easily a 15 to almost, I would say, 20-foot drop for that semi to veer over off of I-40 heading westbound and fall that direction. But that right there should be kind of a prime example of what the conditions today, are set at. Even for semis, I mean, semis are heavy vehicles. For a semi to literally come over I-40 and land the way that it did, those are slick conditions, and unfortunately it's one of those matters where it looks like this semi driver was going too fast for conditions, probably hit a big stretch of ice, lost control of his truck, and unfortunately that's where his truck ended up at. But it's that should kind of say a lot, for those people that are viewing everything. Conditions today are, I mean, they're not good to be in, and if you don't have to be in them, don't be in them. It's dangerous. You're going to put yourself, somebody else in a bad situation, and that's what we're trying to avoid. Let us bring you, the news today as far as weather's concerned. That way you can stay at home and essentially watch it, from the safety of your house. But this is just one of the things we're dealing with today is accidents. So be careful if you're traveling, drive safely as possible. Back to you, William.
Yeah, Derek, a really great report there. And again, dynamic video coming in. Again, this, unfortunately, we've just seen quite a bit as we've gone through the morning. This is just another thing that we've seen. Again, unfortunately, it's always these types of things that really hit home, again, when we go through, these kind of winter weather events. The folks that are impacted, especially a semi-truck driver. I mean, that's their livelihood. That's their business right there. You now see it upside down. And so even some of the other wrecks we've seen, those are folks' cars. They get to work, they pick up kiddos from school, and now they're impacted and they're, essentially disabled in certain ways, again, with their vehicles. So, again, if you don't have to put yourself in that situation today, again, the best news is don't. Stay somewhere safe, stay somewhere warm. And if you have to travel, we understand, but if you're just going to Walmart or you're just running an errand, do it a different day. There's better weather on the way for tomorrow for sure. Again, don't subject yourself, your vehicle, your family, obviously, to these conditions. But again, just more video coming in. And again, this is just kind of telling the story of what we've seen so far this morning. So again, not good. Again, that's out there in the Weatherford area, out there close to I-40. Derek Machining, really appreciate that update. I want to bounce back here into central Oklahoma, still sticking with our team of tractors here. Mike Russ still kind of meandering around the Oklahoma City area. Mike, we're looking at your video as well. Tell us where you are now and give us an update on what's going on out there.
Yes, William. I'm going to be at Reno and Rockwell at the moment. Reno is actually in pretty good shape, and I think that's just due to all the traffic and the stop and go traffic is kind of keeping the road a little bit warmer on the surface. But again, anytime we're coming over bridges and stuff like that, they are slick. But as far as the actual pavement, ground levels, it seems to be okay at this time. But again, everyone's still out here taking everything very cautiously. We like seeing that. But one thing I can tell you, William, that I'm having a problem with here is every so often I have to get out and clear these windshield wipers due to the fact that I've got the heater going on the inside, the defroster going on the inside of the truck, but it is so cold outside that it's actually still sticking to the wipers and not clearing the windshield effectively here. So every now and then I have to pull over and clear these windshield wipers. But and I mean, that's some of the, just to show you, those are some of the problems that you can expect today. Now, actually, as I'm coming down between west down Reno right now, I don't know if you can see it in my shot very well, but there's a glazing on the grassy surfaces and stuff like that out here that really kind of tells you that they've received a little more on the previous fog side here on the western side of the metro, it looks like, William.
Yeah, Mike, I really appreciate that update. It looks like you're out there, kind of out there by the old AT&T plant. Is that where you are?
Yes, yeah, that's correct, William.
And real quick, also, I just want to touch on this one more time. It does just kind of keeps my curiosity here. As far as, we keep talking about the bridges and overpasses. I think, obviously, most folks are understanding, yes, there's big issues there. Use a lot of caution there. But if you're just kind of out driving on the local streets, for the most part, they look wet. Derek, out there where it is a little bit colder in western Oklahoma, there are definitely slick spots on some of the local roads themselves. But as you're kind of, just meandering around the Oklahoma City metro, the actual roads themselves, have you hit black ice? Are you hitting slick spots on those? Or has it still primarily only been the bridges and overpasses here in the metro?
I'm going to go ahead and say, William, that yes, I have hit black ice on the secondary roadways. But so far, the biggest threat are those bridges and overpasses. It's very spotty as to where I'm finding the slick spots on the secondary roads. But again, when you do find them, it just takes a little bit to really mess up your day, William.
Yes, no, absolutely. That's great information there, Mike. Really appreciate that. I was just looking over some new data coming in here to the forecast center as well. So here's what we're going to do. We've been on the air for just about an hour and a half, at least, on this update here. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. I'm going to look over a little bit of data, talk to the storm trackers here, and we'll continue to pick up our winter weather coverage. Long day of winter weather coverage ahead here on Oklahoma Weather Tracker TV. Okay, are you guys there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, I'm here.
Well, I'm just starting to run through the loop just real quick. We'll do that. I'm just trying to look over a couple new things here while that's happening. What is there new information, or do you guys want to take a little break here?
I mean, right now I'm just sitting here on this.
I know I'm going to have to use the restroom.
Mike, say that again. You said you need to use the restroom?
Yeah.
If you do, yeah, we can take a little break here. And then, like I said, then kind of pick back up on it. I'm just looking at something new coming in here as well from the Weather Service.
Say that again. Really fast, William.
What?
I just said that as soon as I said that about when you just cut from me, Reno is now a solid sheet of ice where I'm at council.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost If you look, you can almost see it. It's almost white in spots.
Yeah, it's down.
It is.
Yukon is now down to 22. I think here in central Oklahoma, I think we may drop down to the teens. The data has just been so bad with this Arctic air. It's been keeping us warm. I mean, I think it's 21 in El Reno, 22 in Yukon, 23 in Guthrie. I think we're going to drop down that low. And I think even the local roads, I think there's going to be some bigger problems on the local roads. I really, really do.
What are we setting out here in Weatherford right now, William?
You're at 20.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
you're 18 to 20. And that's what I'm saying. It's so much colder out there that that's why I'm not surprised the roads are really, there's bigger issues out there on the roads themselves. But I think that's going to happen here in central Oklahoma.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys are fixing to get that brunch of it. I mean, really, the only major thing I've seen out here is really the semi accident. It's about the only major. I mean, other than I-40 being shut down, eastbound, right. I think they may have had an accident up towards Hydro because they were pulling back a semi earlier, but it didn't look nothing compared. This sucker, man, this semi this accident's right down from Mike's parents' house actually, and it had to have jumped. Oh yeah, off I-40. I mean, it literally had to jump on the 66. That's probably. What would you say, 15, 20 foot drop, Mike? Up by where that bridge is across 66?
Oh, yeah, at least.
Yeah, so I hope this dude's okay. I mean, I hope he's okay. He's not here right now, but I hope there wasn't a fatality on this.
I don't know how I'm going to get home tonight.
There were two fatalities. There were two fatalities in Blaine County, but I think it was the same accident.
Okay.
I think it was the same accident that happened, but there were two fatalities out there again earlier this morning. So
wow.
I mean, but see, these are the deals when it happens. It's always this freezing rain or freezing drizzle, freezing fog. That's these little things that people really kind of take for granted.
Right.
And it always turns into a really big deal, you know?
Oh yeah.
So I mean, it really does. I'm going to real quickly here. I'm going to update. Let me look at the new HRRR. I'm going to update the temperatures real quick here too. I'm going to drop them because the cold air is coming in, and I'll tell you the HRRR. All the models have really struggled with this Arctic air, and you really have just got to look at where the temperatures are and put them in. I mean, it still had it to like 28. We're not. I mean, like I said, the western side of the metro is down to 22, and we may literally be down to like 19. Before it's all said and done this afternoon. Like right now, currently, it has us by 5 o'clock. It has us at 27. We're already colder than 27 right now. So I mean, it's not handling this well at all.
Yeah, no joke.
So that's not good. I can tell you that.
Everything's freezing faster than it can drop.
No, it is. I mean, honestly, it really, really is. Let me just punch this in here real quick. In 1 second here. I don't remember what my low was for tonight. I need to look at that too, I guess. Michael Cohn is testifying right now too.
Just to let you know, the closer I get to Yukon, everything is ice. Like,
hey guys, hold on.
In the parking lot.
Hey guys, hold on 1 second. I'm just on the other line here, just real quick. Okay, hold on 1 second.
Yeah, I believe that, Mike.
Okay. Bear with me. I'm going to go use the restroom, so I'll be right back on.
That's fine.
Okay, hey, are you guys still there?
Yeah.
Okay. Give me 1
I think
second
Mike
here.
said he was going to the bathroom real quick, so.
Okay, yeah, no, that's no problem. Let me put this down here. I'm just updating all this here too. Ice accumulations on trees and grass, roadways still wet in Newcastle.
I want to say, William, as far as tree accumulation out here, we're probably probably about a 1/4 inch of ice at least on the trees.
You think so?
Oh, I would say so. Oh,
You
yeah.
think Yeah, I almost want to be surprised. I honestly, at this point, would not be.
I'm fixing to go peel on off. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go.
Hey, yeah, do that for real. Hey, do that and just see if you don't mind.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Okay.
You on, William?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to put this in front of the camera. Give me your thoughts.
Let me pull your thing. Hold on.
Are you okay?
Hey, your video's bad today.
I apologize.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, that's more like a sickle, though. Well, no, or is that a branch?
No, that's a branch.
Is it? I'm looking at it. I would say it's a tenth. The data was showing about a tenth of an inch of glaze. I would say that's a tenth to a quarter. It could be a quarter. It could be a quarter of an inch.
And that was gauged from a couple 100 foot. So yeah, it might be about a glaze.
It honestly could be a quarter of an inch of glaze. I think that could be possible. But I mean that's some pretty good accumulation. I have to be honest with you. I mean this isn't an ice storm, so to speak, but that's still,
especially on a twig that size. Yeah. I mean the twig wasn't very thick at all.
No, I'm being dead serious. I'm being dead serious. Let me do this here. I'm going to take the drizzle off by 7. I think the drizzle will be over there. I'm going to take that off. Okay. But no, that was some decent, honestly, that was really some decent glazing. I was actually surprised to see that much, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty thick.
That was really pretty thick, honestly. Let me save this here. I'm just uploading this. And I'm going to update my map real quick here, too.
Yeah, that's fine.
And we're gonna drop these temperatures on down big time. I just don't know how long I want to go. I didn't even think my overnight low was too. That's probably too long. Looking at the status, it's all trash today. It was all trash yesterday too, to be honest with you. And I had a room really get in there and rework at least what we got here.
1 second, William. How are you?
Oh, I wonder why you guys didn't know I was back.
Yeah. Oh, it jumped over I-40. It's nasty, but that's what happens.
Hey, William, you got a couch, right? No comment? No couch?
It's pretty nasty.
Mike, are you talking?
No, I said, William, I said, you have a
Do
couch,
what?
right?
Yeah, fire department, the county commissioner,
I was saying this parking lot here at Morgan Road, the CNA is, I mean, it's a solid sheet of ice. So I'm kind of wondering how I'm making it home today.
Maybe you're not. Maybe you have to stay here.
Hey, Mike.
That's what I said. You got a couch, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, you may have to. I mean, you may not be able to. I mean, honestly, you really may not be able to. It's one of those deals. So, I mean, I'm being that serious too.
I was going to say, if you get to El Reno, Mike, you might be able to westbound's moving pretty quick. I mean, I don't know how far back that is, but, I mean, they seem to be moving fairly fast.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll just play it by ear, Mike, and we'll just see. I mean, if it's treacherous, there's no reason to drive. I mean, it's not like it's. I mean, you don't have to be back tonight, So it's not like it's the end of the world. But yeah, there's no reason. If you can't make it, dude, don't drive back. I'll tell you that right now. Let me do this real quick here.
I want to run down and talk to our commissioner real quick and get an evaluation on how many accidents we've had out here so far. I'll be back.
Okay, yeah, I thought that was, I couldn't figure out who, if you're talking to me or not.
Oh, no, you're good.
I'm gonna put this down.
Wow, this Morgan Road exit, or on ramp, I'm drifting down it.
I truly believe it. Hey, I think, Mike, your camera or whatever, I think it's in and out of focus. I think you have it on autofocus. I don't know if there's a way to change it. I noticed that. I was just watching the replay. Yours is in and out, but I think yours is on autofocus. Derek's, there's something wrong with. But yours, I think, is on autofocus and is focusing in and out, maybe. But the video, I'll be honest with you, I think the video is so bad, even yours is kind of on the not so good side. I don't think your new system's going to, I think we're going to have to put you back to the top box. Because your video, I mean, we couldn't do that during severe weather season. It's just not good enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Either that or if you're using something else today or something, you're going to have to go back to using, I mean, we have to use broadcast quality stuff. Because I'm watching 4, 5, and 9, and theirs is like coming in HD. Ours, you can't even, on full screen, you can't even make out what's going on. You know what I mean? So, I mean, we've got to, at this point, be using high quality stuff. And I mean, everybody has it. We just need to make sure we're using it. But there's no reason, because when people see that, it's an immediate, you can't make out the video. It's an immediate, turn off. So we just, so like, I know this was a rush still. It's winter weather. I get it. But we need to figure that out, whatever it is. We need to make sure that we've got the right stuff going. Because, I mean, normally you guys are all fine. So, I mean, I think whatever the deal is, we just got to figure that out. So it'll be all right. Let me do this here. Let me just punch this in. Give me one more moment. So I'm just taking notes, by the way. That's what I'm doing right now. I was telling Derek about that.
Damn, it's nuts.
It's what?
I said, this is nuts.
Hey, I'll be back online in a few minutes, guys. I'm with our commissioner right now. He's going to share some pictures and stuff with me and give me some stats.
No, it's fine. I'm not pulling you out, so no, take your time.
Okay.
Backpack out of here?
Okay.
enter your PIN to join this conference. This free conference call is provided by Uber Conference. Joining conference now.
Let me tell you something. It may not matter. You may need to move it out of fast track one because if Jesse isn't reducing that much, we need you and your setup with the good stuff to do it. You know what I mean? So that like I said, what we're using today is not even like Facebook Live type stuff. It's really, we have to make sure we're broadcasting and broadcast quality shit. You know what I mean? And so that's like I said, it's one of those deals. I know it's just thrown together. It was a rush deal today, and I appreciate it.
And that's partly my fault too, William. I apologize for that because it wasn't a really short notice. I was just preparing to be up to the city today, with my kiddo, and so it's like. No,
I get it. It was short notice. No, it was short notice, but no, like I said, we'll get going in the future. I mean, this is just kind of a mulligan today, but it's just this is probably from the time I've done the channel. And I'm not saying this like in a bad way. I'm just saying, but today's the worst video we've ever had. But I'm just saying we want it to be broadcast because that way when people watch, they're like, okay, it's legit, not,
right.
I can't see anything.
Jury rigged.
That's the whole thing. Yeah, but next time it'll be fine. And like I said, typically it is. So I'm not too worried about it. I'm just saving my map here.
Hey, see, I want to hear a crazy story about this accident.
Yeah.
All right, so I sat in with our commissioner a few minutes ago, and he was sending pictures over to me. This accident that I'm at was actually two separate accidents. There was a car that was here first that had spun out, had an accident, and the next thing I heard, there was a big old screech and a semi literally coming over basically on top of them, and I guess ran out of the way real quick, but that semi literally landed on top of their car.
Are you serious? Were they hurt?
Up in the front? No, he said everybody was okay, but there's been approximately probably around 10 to a dozen accidents. There were at least this one accident in front of your parents' house, Mike, on the west side, and that's the last picture I sent. And then he said 2 up by Hydro, and then multiple accidents back by Clinton. So he said probably about.
Hey, Derek. Yeah. Hey, also keep this in mind for both of you guys on deals like this, and even maybe on days when there's been tornadic activity and there's damage and stuff. Anybody who you talk to like that and they're open to doing an interview, they can always call in on the live line as well. You can have them call in, and then we can take them live, and they can just give us a synopsis or a report.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So when you're talking to people and you feel like, hey, would you like to be interviewed live? Are you open to doing that? Is that something you can do?
Okay.
And again, if so, then just have them call in for the live line, and then we'll just let me know, and then we won't have them waiting. We'll just get right to them, and they do it, and then they just hang up and go on about their day.
Okay.
You see what I mean?
Awesome.
So anyway, so that's just an idea as well.
Yeah, no,
and,
that's
not
awesome.
Everyone. I mean, sometimes they're too busy to do it. It's just one of the deals. But I mean, if you happen to get the commissioner there, like you just had, be like, hey, let's get you on for a quick interview, and then they can report it. And then we also have an official, on there as well.
Right,
so
right.
It's kind of one of those deals to try and do. Because just like the local stations, they try and get them to call in. You don't really see it as much anymore, but they did. I saw earlier they had Jack Damrell from the Turnpike Authority on there, and he just did a quick, little phoner. That's all they do, just a quick little phoner, boom, boom, and like I said, they just go on about their day.
Hell, all I gotta do is just get them in the truck with me. Yeah.
Say that again.
I said all I'd really have to do is just put him in the car with me and let him talk.
or put them on your phone. Yeah, no way. No, or you can do it just like that too. You can just hand them the phone. I mean, either of those ways is fine. But like I said, so just keep that in mind because we can do that kind of stuff as well.
Okay. And I'm sure at some point our commissioner would be up for it. So.
Yeah, and it may happen. It may not. It never. But even on tornado days, if there's been whatever it is, or if there's some type of an actual official, not just some, person who really can't officially, speak, but if it's somebody who can officially talk, whatever it is, whether it's fire, even on those fire days, something like that, if it's an official, then, let's put them on. But if it's just somebody who's guessing and doesn't really know and they're whatever, then we don't want to put them on. But, if it's an official, again, fire, winter, severe, whatever it is, we'll just pop them right on.
Okay, well, we'll keep that in mind for future stuff then. That's awesome.
It's an idea.
Hell yeah. I like it.
I've got this here updated. Let me look at the roads again here. This map has not been that great. The ODOT road map today has been almost trash, to be honest with you. I'm not sure. Normally their map is actually pretty good, but for whatever reason, it hasn't been. They haven't been updating it.
I can tell you, this wind is picking up here in Yukon.
Oh, I'm not surprised. You know why, Mike? It's the tip of the Arctic air. It's this next surge of Arctic air coming on in, and it's the tip that's getting there right now.
Woohoo!
But hey, Mike, Commissioner said you could put those photos on whatever you do today, so.
You do what?
Commissioner said you could use those photos for whatever today, so. That I sent on the
Okay.
chat.
Yeah.
He gave his permission, so we're good.
This is basically the same. Norman's not. I'm gonna get a look up front just real quick because it's not even. They're still not even reporting down here it's looking hazardous. I did include Cleveland County as looking hazardous, but I mean from what they're showing on here, it's not. So.
Unless the weather service is having a mishap.
Well, it's ODOT, but even on my car, looking on my car, there's a little bit of glazing on it, but it looks nastier here in Norman than it did earlier. But I mean, they're not. Honestly, it's really not even on my car. It's really not. To be honest with you, none of this is frozen at all. Oh no, it is actually. It actually is frozen, but not much. So.
Well, your car's not shivering enough.
I know. Yeah, I know exactly.
Hey, I see what their tactic is today.
What is
that?
If the vehicle's in the ditch, leave it. If it's on the road, move it.
Are they marking them at all?
They didn't mark this one. Hell, they didn't even clean up the road from all the debris.
You know, so then they probably haven't seen it yet because a lot of times they'll mark them that there's nobody trapped in there. So put one of those little orange things on it. Not so much left. You only have 24 hours to move it, but more in the way of, hey,
don't stop. It's been checked.
Yeah, no, exactly. No, yeah. So they don't waste their time going back through. But no, that's exactly what it is. You know.
I believe that.
But that is exactly what it is. Let's see. What else? I think I've got everything updated here. Seems like every time.
That time yet?
I know. Seriously, I'm with you, man. I got up early today too. We'll do another update, then we'll do the noon, and then the only other thing we need to try and do is just the 4 o'clock show for the evening commute. So, Mike, and I mean, if you want to come back down here, and just kind of wait, even if you want to take a nap, like in the other room, you know what I mean? I can close that door and turn off the lights in there, and you can just take a nap. You know what I mean? Just like I know you've been up like most of the day. I mean, that's not, great, but I mean, that's what I've had to do, what I've been down here all night before. So, I mean, it's up to you. I mean, if you want to come back down here after we kind of do this, and then you can just kind of hang out, relax a little bit, and then we can knock out the 4 o'clock. I think after the 4 o'clock we should be good because that's the evening commute, and after dark we can't really produce. There's nothing to show. You know what I mean? So even for the 7 o'clock, and normally on days like this, I don't do the 7, and the reason why is because we can't show any video. But say you turn it on at 9 o'clock and there's no video to show, you're like, I wonder why they didn't cut. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, why was there no coverage? And so I just leave the coverage portion of it up as more of like a demo reel from the 4 o'clock, if that makes sense. So,
Yeah.
I never want people to turn it on who maybe haven't been watching all day, but they watch in the evening or overnight or something, and they're like, there was all the fact of weather, but they didn't have any coverage of what's going on. I always want, if there's coverage, I always want the coverage to be on the loop until, till the next day or whatever. So that's the only thing. What is this? I'm getting all kinds of these weird, not weird text messages, but I'm getting spam text messages that I used to never get them. My phone's been spammed out some way somehow. And I keep having to stop.
Since we've been on the live lines, I have had probably literally 30 calls.
But the thing is, I did for 2 days. There were 2 days I was getting calls every 30 minutes from just random. I mean, it helps. I mean, every little thing you can think of, all automated, and then it stopped. I mean, just as fast as it started out of nowhere, it stopped. and I haven't been getting in touch. I did get a health insurance call yesterday, but I mean that's been it. It's not like it's not crazy like it was, you know. So weird. I don't really know what's up with that.
Huh. Yeah, like I'm gonna have to figure something out on this phone because this is the one this is my business line, which is
That's the
the
business
Lifeline phone.
That's
And I can't have 30 phone calls coming in during chase season.
I know, right? Well, I mean, we couldn't hear them on the line though. I mean, so it wasn't beeping or anything. At least I didn't notice.
It's great. Like William, I was backing up at my speedometer wasn't even moving yet. It wasn't even off of 0. And I just decided to lock up the brakes just to see, and I slid like 3 feet.
Where?
In this parking lot in Yukon.
This
is ridiculous.
Yukon is down at 21. OKC is now at 24. So I'm telling you, once the temperatures go that low, that's when the pavement can start getting cold, and there will be slick spots developing. You know, so that's I mean, you know, at 28, you know, it's mainly just you get down to 20 and 17 and some of these other crazy numbers we're seeing. That's when the tape itself can chill down and you can get more to go. You know.
Yeah.
So that's the bottom line with that. Let me see this here. So are we all having fun?
Oh yeah.
I'm scraping my passenger mirror. The heated mirrors can't keep up on the passenger side.
I'm not surprised. I mean, I'm really not, to be honest with you.
Here we go. Now Daddy can see again. Holy crap. This parking lot is frozen. I can ice skate out here. Like, I'm not even stepping, I'm sliding around my truck.
And sometimes the
to walk around it.
Are not as thick. Sometimes they're not.
Yeah.
Okay. Damn it, Bobby. Ooh.
Let me see
What the hell are they hauling? Oh. I thought a DOT truck was hauling a flatbed. What the fuck? Well, I know one place you ain't going to slide out here in western Oklahoma, and that's where this wreck is, because they got it completely sanded. It's awesome.
They dumped a bunch of salt on it now.
Yeah. And it's just this one little section. So.
Even though what's done is done.
Exactly.
It's
probably going to take them at least another hour to get this truck moved. They haven't even pulled on it yet. They just had another truck arrive on the other side. So
I'll be honest, I don't even think we're going to hit 39. I'm not going to update any of that for tomorrow, but I don't even think I really don't think tomorrow we're going to hit 39. Let me see what the new 3K. I think it's going to be,
if we did, especially after today.
No, I don't think we are. We'll get rid of the clouds, but this cold air, it's not going anywhere. And there's northerly winds tomorrow too. Let's see what the new 3K is for tomorrow. Oh well, no, it's new. Oh man, no, that's Friday. Let's see. Where's tomorrow?